Time and space are the lifelong companions in our life journey. The nexus of time and space is the intersectionality of country, nation, community, family, and self, with the past, present, and the future. Now, how you relate to your country, to time and space, will determine the issue of your roots, your identity, your national and individual DNA. That DNA is inherited, recognized, but also built upon and developed. These are inescapable questions. What are your roots? Where do you belong? Whom do you belong to? What is your identity? Now that is what I mean when I said you can't build a future without owning your past. We have to know, but not just know, also understand and own our past. Not just our own past, but our society and community's past, our nation and country's past. And we need to do so in a way that allows us to be strong. I think that we live in an era where identity is being challenged, where it is difficult in this globalized world to define identity and how to position identity. We see it all across the world. So identity, I think, has to be revisited. Now, identity means that you inherit the past, but you also have a past of your own making, and you have to own it. If it is positive, if there are positive parts in your past, then be proud and own it. Americans constantly refer with pride to their founding fathers. We Vietnamese need to be proud about the significance of Dien Bien Phu for the world national liberation movements. Now, if the past is negative or has negative parts in it, then what do? You need to admit to it, draw lessons from it, own it, and move on. Now, owning it and moving on when it is a painful, difficult past is not easy. Many years after the end of the last war, the so-called American war in Vietnam, there were still American veterans struggling with PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. And in Germany, after the Second World War, it must have been very difficult for many Germans to cope with that darkest moment or chapter in their national history. But post-war German leadership and most of the Germans dealt with it, owned up to it in an exemplary fashion. This also may be the reason why today there are many Japanese who are pacifists. Let me now come to us and me, Vietnamese. I'll say two things. One, war and peace, history and modernity are part of our millenary history, our national DNA. We have to know who the Trung sisters are. We have to know about Dien Bien Phu. These are part of our national DNA. Once, two young Vietnamese came to see me inquiring whether and how to answer questions about the last war from foreign visitors. I told them exactly that. Now, of course, the question is how to. You should not avoid speaking about the past of your country, your nation, and so on and so forth, but it's just how to. We Vietnamese, in parts, we remain backward, but at the same time, the paradox is we are cultured and humane. There are these two facets to our national DNA. So let me say, let's own our nationality. I was a bit dismayed to hear that some young Vietnamese traveling abroad tried to avoid acknowledging being Vietnamese, tried to pretend they were something else from Southeast Asia. Now, if there's something wrong or bad in what we do, what should be our reaction? We should make it right. We should not, deny it. We should not go into denial. So that's for nationality. We are what we are, and we can make ourselves better. We should make ourselves better. Same thing with family. If you are the son or daughter of a Grab bike driver, so what? Own it. Myself, I come from a traditional Mandarin family. My father and myself, we didn't have the same politics, but we still remained very close, and he showed respect for my choice. So, same thing. Let's own to your belonging to a certain social or family background. In short, let us own our past the right way, so that it is not a burden, but on the contrary, a driving momentum, so that we can stand strong, clear-eyed, self-confident in our own understanding and in our ability to build the future that we strive for. Thank you.